Well, all right, y'all. So, welcome back to It's Puddin's Tea. I'm your host, Puddin, of course. And look, y'all, we have no time to waste. So, I'm just going to jump straight into it. So, listen, uh, I listen. I don't even know how to start this off because it's a sensitive subject. So, I'll make sure I watch some of the words that I use on this one because it can get a little sensitive as far as covering today's topic, which is about the Epstein list. Okay, so yeah, so recently the Epstein list came out, and I was ready to go, right, ready to cover this, but then I realized like some details I forgot, and at the end of the day, I really never really fully understood who Jeffrey Epstein was. Like, I can't be the only one. Like, I'm pretty sure when this took place, people were invested in. I've always been one of those people, like, I'm not watching the news. I just started like really getting into this recently, like covering the current events and things, right? And so I was like, okay, so I have a lot of catching up to do. But I know I'm not the only one. Like, a lot of us pretty much go with like that flow, right? And it's like we have the bits and pieces that we need. Like, there's a person who was involved in sex trafficking, and anytime there's any abuse of children or anything like that, or just anyone in general, really, we tend to flock to that and see what's going on, so we know to avoid that person, and see that they get the justice that they deserve. You know what I mean? So I really kind of was on that particular boat. Like, I was just going along with certain information that I was just getting here and there. So I was like, I really don't know like exactly what's going on, and I would like to know the details. So I will be bringing some details to you, just in case you were like me and you really wasn't aware, right? But it's like we know enough to know that if all of these things are true, which clearly they must be, right? That he wasn't a good person, because he's no longer here, because he passed away due to what they say from him hanging himself. And we'll get into that, right? But yeah, so okay, so let's just start off from the beginning, right? Because I didn't even know what he did for a living, y'all. I thought he probably was doing like movies or something, or a producer or something like that. Because usually, let's just be honest, like usually it's the same like profession for most of these people that get caught up, and the people that he's involved with, of course, are you know supposedly like celebrities and things like that, and other rich people or wealthy people that we either heard of or haven't heard of. Oh, excuse me, y'all, I had to sneeze. Bless me. But yeah, so I was just like, okay, so who is this guy and how did he like start this off, right? So my resources, and thank you, Wiki. Um, yeah, shout out to Wikipedia, y'all. Wikipedia be doing some good work there. So yeah, and if you could donate to Wikipedia, do so, y'all. Y'all know y'all see that little pop up when y'all be on Wiki, right? And I think because the information is pretty, it's pretty good. Okay, sorry, I'm going off to the side. ADHD kicked in. Okay, back focus. I'm focused. Okay, so let's start off with just the regular stuff, right? They said that he was a normal person. He went to school, regular boy. Like, most people have like kind of like a sticky situation in their childhood, but I didn't. Not that I found. Like, for the most part, it's like he had normal parents. And he had a normal upbringing. Like, I didn't find anything that stuck out to me or anything that seemed like someone may have just been covering something up. But we go into, let's get right into when he started teaching, right? Because, and mind you, this is in 75, 76, 1975, 76, where, so he did go to college, right, for mathematics, but he did not graduate or anything like that. So he did not have a degree. Someone hired this man to teach children physics and mathematics. I don't know how. I guess back then, I don't even know how it works now. As far as I know now, it could, as long as you got a hookup, I guess you could probably do the same. I feel like that's odd. That's red flag number one for me, right? Why would you? Why? Like, why would you do that? Like, that's a bit odd to me. Like, why would you? I don't get it. Like, why would you want to be sneaky and sneak into a school to become a teacher? Like, well, the only time I've seen that so far is anybody watch the show You on Netflix? I love that show. I need to finish it, as a matter of fact. But the last season that they had, the first couple of episodes I saw, it's like he pretended, but that made sense. He had just murdered a few people, and he had created a new identity, so that makes sense, right? So he automatically is on like the creep radar. Okay, so I'm like, that's creepy for you to just become a teacher all of a sudden, and you don't have no type of degree. You shouldn't be physics. What's good? Why? How? Okay, anyway, but yeah. So they say now. This is what they said. So they weren't like concrete on this, but they said at the time that the person that was in charge, he was known to hire a few of his buddies, like here and there. And Epstein showed up. I think they said like maybe 2 or 3 months after he left. But they said, but they don't have any proof that he had anything to do with that. But it just so happens that he would let people come. Who does that? Like, hey, bro, can I just come teach at your school? Like, that's so weird. But anyway, moving forward, I think it's a little bit more weird because we all know, like, from, recent events or the things that happened before he passed away, that is suspicious. I think that, well, maybe more suspicious now because we know what he was capable of. But still, that's still, to me, a grown man that wants to just go work at a school. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Because maybe sometimes, you probably just making ends meet and you're having trouble finding a job, which I didn't find any of that in his situation. I'm just saying in general, because I'm not judging. I just find it odd. If you're just trying to get some money, you need help finding a job or whatever, you need your foot in the door. Okay, but why take the chance of getting caught without having the credentials that you're supposed to have? I don't know. Okay, but yeah, but moving forward, so he goes to teach at this school. He's caught like on numerous occasions being inappropriate and flirting with the female students, and they said that it's even points where he's going to parties. Rumor has it that he's going to parties. There's some students that said they used to see him and they used to have, they're drinking and things like that at the parties, and he'll show up, which is so peculiar. Like, do you need to really ask at that point if someone's a perv or if they have ill intentions towards young adults at that point? Of course, like, come on, it's too obvious. I'm like, well, maybe back then they didn't have to really cover up things like that. I don't know, y'all. But yeah, so he ends up because I'm trying to make sure I'm not jumping over a particular piece of information first, because it's a lot of back and forth because there's a lot of ends to tie up when it comes down to it. So because he worked at the school, right, 2 of the students there, their father, he pretty much was in charge of the bank that Epstein ended up going to and working at, right, which is also a big leap. Like, you going from a teacher to big dog in banking, like, it's so weird. Like, he must have really had like a persuasive personality or something. Well, they said he was a very outgoing guy and this, that, and the third. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe he turned on like the charm or something. I don't know, y'all. That's pretty much how he ended up becoming a financer or broker or whatever you want to call him. He met the guy through the kids not through the kids, because the daughter said that they were at a parent teacher conference and he had one of the other parents talk him up to their father, who is Alan Greenberg. And after that, I guess they kind of got, you know how that goes. You got a little time to build a friendship. To me, I think he already knew that his time was like dwindling at the school because of his behavior. I'm like, I think like, okay, so we went to school with certain individuals that taught there that had no business being around kids and they were inappropriate. I know we were like in high school. I still think that's weird though. You're an adult, you're a full grown man, and you get it. Like, you understand that we're still developing and things like that. We're young women. Why are you here flirting with us? Like, that's so inappropriate. It's so inappropriate, bro. So I've actually seen it with my own 2 eyes within my generation. So I don't even know. Like, cause I'm pretty sure they were a lot lenient back then. Hopefully it's gotten better since then, that they're not just letting people in and out of these places. But clearly he was a perv. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. He clearly. So after he became friends with him, he was let go from the school. No surprise there, right? So it's like he showed inappropriate behavior towards these children. Like, how long you think that was going to last? And they said he paid extra attention to the female students, and it was quite clear. So yeah, but they end up letting him go. And the only thing they quoted was that he just had like a poor performance, and they left it at that. So that's pretty poor. But the thing is, a lot of these people just get moved around or they get fired. Like, no, you really need to report these people. Like, what is going on? Like, why do they always get a slap on the wrist? Like, these persons always, they get like low sentences and all types of things. Like, it's always been weird to me. But anyway, moving forward though, you guys, without going on a tangent. But after this, of course, Alan Greenberg hired him, and he became he became part of the what's this called? Hold on, I wrote it down here. Where is it? Yes, because every time I see this, I think of the Bernstein Bears, because the firm was called Bear Stearns. So I just automatically, every time I look at it, I'm really thinking of Bernstein Bears. But yeah, so he gets a job there, right? And he does a pretty good job. They say he does well. He becomes a trader and everything like that, and he works his way up. And after about 4 years, because he also became friends with, I only can remember his last name, which was Kane. He was the chief executive of the firm, I believe. And so he became good friends with him, and he still was friends with Greenberg. So he moved, they say he moved up pretty quickly within the firm, and he became a limited partner after 4 years, which is not bad. I say he must have really been good at whatever it was that he was doing. So right after that though, which is kind of odd or peculiar, is that they let him go as well. Like, they let him go after that, and they said that he had a Reg D violation. And y'all, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, after looking that up, I still barely know what it means. I know it's like they have this policy about exemptions or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to find a description, and I'll try to post it on the video that I create for this, so that you guys can read it yourself and get a better understanding, because I was a little confused. And if you don't mind, you can kind of break it down to me in the comments, because I don't know. Maybe I just didn't give it enough, maybe I didn't let it process enough. I don't know. But yeah, but moving forward. So fast forward, that was just a tad bit, just a taste of his background a little bit. It was shady from the start. Just to clear that up, it was shady from the start. So going and skipping straight to Epstein Island. Now that's where it gets a little bit even more sticky for me, because when I put my conspiracy hat on, when you look at it from like your average point of view, like when you look at it from normal, just without the conspiracy, information, right? I'm gonna share the conspiracy stuff after the fact, because you just don't know, and it can go so deep, and it depends on where you're at, on whether you can even perceive it to even be possible. Like for me, I think that the conspiracy stuff makes sense too, but that's just me. Not putting that on nobody. If you don't or you do, it's just still weird to me, because the list coming out, it really ended up like rehashing things. We knew it wasn't over, of course. Him passing away, we knew that wasn't it. Like, come on, we all knew that. And one of his ex-associates, I know that she got like 20 or 22 years in federal prison that she's doing right now. So I know they had some banks that were compensating and giving families settlements as far as the victims and things like that went. But I still just feel like it's barely scratching the surface. I feel like there's a lot, because there's a lot of people involved, and you can't leave that unchecked, right? And they said that in recent reports that the Epstein list is not necessarily all of his visitors, but it's a mixture of like victims and people who didn't necessarily do things to these victims or something or other around that. So I'm like, if that was the case, why just throw the list out there for everybody? Like, y'all knew that before you put the list out. You had to, because if these families are getting settlements and certain things are still being dealt with and taken care of, just letting us run wild with just a list with a bunch of names on it, I feel like it's kind of unfair to the people who are innocent, who may be on the list, or to certain victims, because maybe I don't want nobody to know that I was a part of that or something happened. And when I say a part of that, I mean as a victim. I ain't talking about nobody who actually did anything to anyone. I'm not, no. I'm not taking up for none of them, okay? But I'm talking about as far as being, as far as the victims go, because some people are private. Some people don't want to be known for that or remembered in that particular form of fashion. That's their choice, right? So I feel like they should have done a tad bit better with that part. Well, at least they're saying it now, but still. So going into the island itself, now they said that this place was jam packed full of surveillance cameras. They had like pinhole, what they would call like pinhole cameras, where you couldn't, you can't really tell that there's a camera in there. And apparently it was mostly like in the bedroom or the bathroom, and where people would have intimate time or whatever the case may be. Now they said that from one point it was to have insurance, right? So that if something were to happen or if something, he'll have, this evidence. They said, some say he wanted to make sure he could blackmail people, or he had something on people to protect himself, or it was so he could please himself because he like watching the. Either way it go, this whole entire thing, there's no way to come out clean with this at the end of the day. Like, and he was convicted multiple times, you guys. Like, this wasn't just this one incident. Like, back when I think he was still working at the school, when a parent accused him of sexually abusing her 14-year-old stepdaughter, right? He was found guilty. He pleaded guilty. Still had, he only did, 13 months? And they said, Wiki said that he still had, work release. So, it really wasn't, I'm like, why such a low, listen, me personally, I just feel like when you do that to someone, male or female, you, to a particular degree, to a certain degree, you really ruined a life, right? So 6 months, 9 months, a year, what is that? What is that? So you're trying to tell me, and for some people, you can't compare it to me. Yes, you can. If someone is selling somebody something that they want, how do they end up getting life sentences and getting more time than people who are actually ruining lives? Some people never are the same. Some people never bounce back. Some people, the best they can get out of the situation is that it happens too young, where they don't remember. You know what I mean? It's like they can find some comfort in not remembering what happened. But everyone else, they carry that with them the rest of their lives. They can work it out and they can learn to, heal and deal with it. But it's not fair. You ruin this person's life. There's no, if they can remember it, that's just it. It's always, no matter how much that wound heals, it hurts. It still hurts. So I just don't think that it's fair for someone to walk around and be able to do it to someone else, which he did. Not only just, if they would have nipped it in the bud then it wouldn't have been no island. Not saying that someone else wouldn't have did it, because there's probably more islands that are similar out there. You just never know. And that's where the controversy comes in out as well, because of all the video footage. They stated that, resources stated, Wiki did too though, but other resources, pretty much every resource says that he pretty much suggested that, look, I got stuff on people that'll make you not even be concerned with me, type of thing. So that's what my thing is. If you have a island where you're bringing people, children, back and forth to a designated location for this particular activity, for these activities, you trying to tell me that you have information that's worse than that? That's worse than you being what I would consider the ringleader, because it's your place. You got stuff that's worse than that. So what is it? And where is that at? Because, right after that, it's it happened real quick. It's I heard that part, right? And then, everybody started with the oohs and the ahs, right? And then right after that, it's boom, he hung himself. They found him in the cell. He hung himself. Wait a minute. the timing. And like I said, we really let that happen way too often, you guys. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't hang himself. I'm just saying that I feel like there's a possibility where he didn't. Okay, because but another thing is, where are the recordings for that to be like? Because to me, I would assume that he was smarter than that, and he would have a fail safe just in case he's got any threats on his life. So I don't feel like it stops there. I feel like someone has him in their possession, and it's other things that are set in place, or maybe they use him as an example. I don't know, but we do let that happen way too often, y'all. Where people just they end up unalive, right? And they tend to have situations that happen right before that we know, like, bro, no matter how much it looks like suicide, it looks like an incident or an accident, that is not. Like, how many times do we have to watch it play out? Like, that's why I say hats off to the Cat Williamses out there. Hats off to any of these people that are trying to let us know what's going on. Like, these people have children, they have families, and they're still risking it all just for us to wake up. Like, for real. Like, that's something. Like, bro, do you have any idea like how fantastic of a person you are to risk it all for others? And because some people, they just not gonna say nothing, bro. They just like, hey, listen, I don't blame you either. You protecting your family, you protecting yourself. Like, I get that too, but big respect to the ones that really do risk it all. Like, man, listen, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, especially when you're in the public eye and you already know that they're trying to paint a picture of you that's untrue, and they use other people who have big names or who you would think is a household name. They use them to bully you or to carry the narrative. You know what I mean? It's like, we got to stop that. Like, that's why I said I wasn't just going to sit up here and just talk about this Epstein list and talk about the people on it, because I'm not sure now. Like, I don't even know how to even cover that, because some of those people, aren't guilty of anything. So it just depends on, we'll see eventually. We'll see where that goes, right? Hopefully for the victims too. And so that, because it doesn't just, this ain't it. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, this is not it. This is just one thing that came out. Like, how many other islands are out there like that? Like, it's time for us to step up, yo. It's time for us to step up. At least be aware of these things. Like, that's the least we could do. Spread the word, share it. Like, you don't have to create content. You don't have to, agree with this person or agree with that person. Like, if you see something you feel like it's not right, just share it at least. Because it's like, we got to do something. Like, we can't just keep turning the blind eye because it's not playing a part on our day-to-day lives. Like, it's not going on within our life, so it's not really our problem. No, it is. Because if someone, that could be anyone's child. Like, you're not special. You just, just so happen to be, blessed, and you're fortunate enough to not know anyone or have anyone close to you experience that, or including yourself. Only God knows what takes place, at places like that. Now, going into the conspiracy side, right, real quick. It's so weird, bro. I don't even know if I can say it out loud, to be honest with you. Like, maybe I have to find the video that I saw on it and see if I can try to share that with you all, or share it in a place where all of you, can obtain it, because I think they not only do they explain it better, but it's y'all, I can't. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Like, I can't. It is so, I don't even know if I'm gonna get flagged for it. So I don't even know if I can say it or not. I don't even know if that video is still up, y'all, because they quick to get rid of material like that depending on how good it is, and it was really good. But real quick, since I'm a skip the conspiracy part of it, because the information that was stated there, like I said, I don't think I'll do it justice, to be honest. I don't think I'll say it right. Like, I don't think I'll deliver that the right way. Well, okay, there's one piece of that particular video I saw where they were saying, like, how they talk about, like, skinwalkers, or like clones, or, because you guys, you've all heard of that, or if you haven't, I mean, whew, child, that'll have you up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just looking at a bunch of stuff. I'm quick to see y'all down a rabbit hole. I hope y'all really do your due diligence. Now, do your research, okay? Please do your research. Make up your mind. Make up your own mind, okay? Question everything. Make up your own mind. But at the end of the day, just know that all of this stuff is connected, and it does affect you eventually. Like, Whether you notice it or not doesn't matter. It affects you. But yeah, like when they was talking about like the cloning and stuff like that, and they were talking about the ability to transfer consciousness, right? It's like pretty much putting you, but in a whole nother body, or whatever the case may be. And they were saying that someone mentioned that too with the island now, saying that they will also do that as well there. So it just makes you just like, what is really like what? But to be honest, some of that stuff is probably, I don't know if the public is ready for that. Like the mass majority, I'm not sure if they're even ready for that type of information. I'm not sure, but I know when they are, it will come out. That's just, y'all, that's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother, and you know what I might do? Yeah, I might just go ahead and do an episode on that and try my best to find that video so y'all can get that other piece that I'm just staying away from. That other piece of information, because I try to inform you the best, to my best abilities, and I don't want to mislead anyone or get anything wrong. Or me, like if I'm not sure, I at least like to tell you, like, I'm not sure. But that particular piece that I'm talking about is so important that I'm not even going to attempt that, because I don't want to take away from it either, if that makes sense, y'all. You know what I mean? I don't want to dilute that. But yeah, so jumping back to the Cat Williams episode, he mentioned and he name dropped certain people, right? And like, let's go back to the Chris Tucker part. Okay, so listen, let me tell you what makes this interesting. And I have clips from an old video that I watched that had like the sign-in roster. And mind you, this clip that I don't even know why it's still in my phone. I've had this thing, I had the screenshot of it for like 3 years now, because I think I had it since like 2021, right? So at least about 2 or 3 years. So I remembered that, and so when I recently, when it recently just came up, I was like, oh, like this. Ooh. So it's like, okay, so the Chris Tucker thing. Let me tell you what's funny about the Chris Tucker situation. He was friends with Michael Jackson, and he was good friends with Bill Clinton. And on the sign-in sheet little thing, it had both Chris Tucker and Bill Clinton, right? And I'm gonna tell you what all of that is kind of like, because it's like these people around you have been accused of being within this, the secret group and doing things that children and whatever the case may be, or just people in general, right? Not saying, I mean, some people are, I really don't like to really do the whole guilty, by association type of thing, because sometimes you just don't know where someone's at, you know what I'm saying, mentally. Because I don't know if you guys remember, Chris Tucker did a stand-up, and he was talking about how he used to be really good at doing impersonations of Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton used to take him places and have him do the impressions, right? He used to have him doing the impressions. So I'm like, did he take you to Epstein Island and make you do impressions of him? And then when you think about that, and then you think about the whole, like, transferring of consciousness and stuff like that, I just think it's just, I don't know, y'all. It's starting to piece together, like I mentioned a few episodes back about like the chaos theory, where it's really one big plan, but it's so chaotic and the pieces are so like all over the place that it's hard for you to put the pieces together to see that it's one big picture. But it's done that way intentionally. Like, it's made to give you pieces out of order so that you don't think that there is no order, that you think is just coincidence, and it's not. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm just saying, I just wanted to mention that real quick before I forgot about that little tiny piece. So I'm like, all these things are starting to weave together. And the reason I think that the whole Cat Williams thing is going the way it's going up, because it's time. Like, it's time. And I'm glad that everyone's taking this into account, and some of the things that he's saying into account. Like, bro, it's just time, bro. It's time. It's time for the mask to come off. It's time for the veil to be let down. You know what I mean? So yeah. So as far as the conspiracy side of it, I think I'm just gonna cover just plain like what we would consider conspiracy, because conspiracy is really starting to unfold as truth. So I'll probably cover that the next episode. If not, it'll be coming up sooner than later. So I'm really just gonna try to find the video. So if I can't share the video with you guys, which hopefully I can, but if someone has it and I can't share it and I can only look at it for certain reasons, then I'll make sure that I at least get the words right. Okay, so when I quote it, I'll be right. All right, so I'll be on the money. So yes, but thank you guys for tuning in today for episode 4. I appreciate you guys. Love and light to every last one of you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night. And until the next episode, bye bye.